Hey guys, welcome back to 9 to 5 Gamers, and it's Top 10 Tuesday! That means that we are going to do another Top 10 list, and if you guys aren't familiar with the series, every single Wednesday I do a poll to give you like 5 options of top 10s that you would like to see. And we've done some pretty interesting ones, so you can go ahead and go back and check those out on my channel. Today's top 10 is top 10 games to start a collection with. Now, this is a very difficult video to make because I know, like, when it comes to making your collection, there's a lot that goes into that, right? Like, you're assuming a couple of things. I'm assuming that you're new to board gaming, so you don't know a ton about board games, but since you're starting a collection, you're probably a gamer who hasn't really gotten into board games yet. You're interested, and so if there's anybody out there that's watching this video and you're interested in games like this, these are what we call gateway games, games that are not too complicated to play and kind of get you into the hobby. At least that's how I'm interpreting it. I think there's a lot of games that can make this list, but some that didn't make mine. So some honorable mentions that I don't have with me at the moment. Catan is a really cool area control game that people still love. It's been out since like the 90s. Pandemic is a very more modern cooperative game that's really, really fun, and I think it's a great game for people who are just starting to learn how to game. And also Ticket to Ride, so easy to play, so accessible, very good game. So let's start the list. First of all, trick-taking. There's a lot of really cool trick-taking games out there. Some of them are a little more complex than others. The Crew, for example, is a cooperative trick-taking game. I've introduced that to a number of new people who have never played games before, and they did not understand or get the concept, didn't enjoy it. So The Crew, I'm always weary on who plays that game. So, but for a trick-taking game that's super easy to learn, very fast and fun to play, and it plays with a lot of people, is probably one of my favorite trick-taking games of all time, Skull King. I love Skull King. If you've never played it, it is such an incredible game, and it's just a trick-taking game about pirates, but the cool part is that you have to bet how many tricks you think you're going to win, how many hands you're going to win, and you start by banging on the table singing yo, ho, ho, and then you put out your fingers on how many tricks you're going to win. It's just so much fun, man, and people, it's so funny when you think you're going to win and you're like, yo, I said I was going to bet 4, and I'm going to win 4, and then somebody comes in, you throw down the Skull King, and somebody throws a mermaid, they're like, sorry, I know you needed to win that one, but I needed to win this one, and you're like, nah! Like, it's so funny, man. Skull King is just such a good game, and it comes with instructions on how to make a pie. I don't know why I always mention that, but I just thought it was the weirdest thing that inside there was literally a recipe for like some blackberry pie or something like that. It was funny. But anyways, Skull King. I think everybody needs a social deduction game, and I think Werewolf is number one. Skull King is very cheap. Werewolf is very cheap. These are games that are very affordable, which I think is very good for people who are starting a collection to get games that are on the cheaper end. But to save you some money, One Night Ultimate Werewolf, which honestly I don't think it's really worth the amount of money I paid for it. It was like 25 bucks. I think maybe for like 20 bucks, 15 bucks if you can get this game, it's really good. This is so fun, and the cool part is that a lot of the difficult part of the night phase, there's an app that runs it. You just download the app, and the app will run the game for you. But it's a cool social deduction game. I really, really enjoy this game, and I have just a tremendous amount of fun playing it. I still think Blood on the Clock Tower is my favorite social deduction game, but that's not perfect for this list. I'll tell you that right off the bat. There's a lot of reading that goes into that. I do not recommend that for first-time players, new to the hobby, trying to build your collection. So, One Night Ultimate Werewolf, best social deduction game by far. This is a cool game that I think that everybody should have in their collections. Very, very entry-level friendly. KINGDOMINO. And you can get regular KINGDOMINO. Regular KINGDOMINO is like 20 bucks. It's so cheap and affordable. It's fantastic. But if you can get KINGDOMINO Origins, this one is really cool because not only does it give you the original KINGDOMINO experience, but there's also added variability. So whenever you've played it enough that you go, hey, let's try it with this part where you add the animals, or this part where you add, there's a couple of different expansions and things in there that you can do that make the game play a little bit differently. This is a really cool game. It plays really fast. It's super affordable. I think maybe this game is like $30 or maybe 40, I don't remember, but it's such a good game. The quality is great on it. This is a really cool game that you can get for people who are starting their collections because it's just so fun. And I never grow tired of playing this game. It's so good, and not a lot of people talk about it anymore. I guess people they've made so many of them by now. I'm sure people are kind of King Domino'd out, but I am not. If you are starting a collection, King Domino is essential. King Domino Origins will probably give you the most bang for your buck. King Domino, the regular one, is good, but it can get old kind of quick. So, but that's a really cool game to start your collection with. Another really cool game, because I can't stop playing this game. So King Domino is kind of like a drafting. It's kind of like, it's not worker placement per se, but it has like this element of I'm going to put a worker here because that's the tile I want to get on the next round. It's really cool. I think that everybody should have a game like that. Everybody should also have some kind of a dice game. And there's a lot of them out there. Dice Throne is really, really cool. I enjoyed it not as much as I wanted to. It is one of those games that I was like, it's okay. And I have a ton of that. But it's just not very friendly entry level. I don't think, as a new aspiring board game enthusiast, I don't think it's the easiest game to get into. There's a lot of technical things in there that I don't think make it easy. So if you need a really good dice game, very easy to play, and man, the people that I've played this with cannot stop playing it. I cannot stop playing it. It's actually the game I've played so far. I've played this the most this year, and I got it maybe around January, February, and I have not been able to stop playing it. It's amazing. It's Dice Miner. This is a drafting game where you're drafting dice off of a mountain, and those dice go into your you build like a little tableau of dice. It's kind of cool, man, and I thought it was such a really cool idea. It is completely luck dependent, but again, when you're starting as a board game collector and you're starting your collection, you want games like this for friends to come over, because I think that's what you want as when you're starting your collection, is games that you can share with people, not games that you're going to just play by yourself. If you're going to be playing by yourself, check out my top 10 solo games. That's more so what you're probably looking for. But this is just for people who are going to have people come over, man. Dice Miner is such a good, fun game. You can actually play it solo. You can play it with two. I think the optimal experience, it plays well at all player counts, but at 2 players, woof, man, when you get all those dice and you're just chucking dice on the thing, it's so satisfying and so much fun. And there's a lot of people who hated on it. I don't know why. I mean, it's like, oh, it's got too much luck. It's a dice game. Of course it's going to be a luck. It's rolling dice. And so there's a couple of issues with the game that some people have. I think it's phenomenal. For me, it's like a 7 or an 8. And I just love playing it. You guys should check it out. Dice Miner. If you can find a copy of it, of course. I don't know how readily available that game is. Now, another game that I think everybody needs is a good polyomino game. Now, I think Isle of Cats is one of my favorite polyomino placement games, where you're just taking those little polyomino-shaped cats and putting them in your ship. There's a lot to that game, though, because when I started thinking about it, I was like, well, you've got that mechanism where you got the baskets and the fish you have to use as currency, and then you have to draft cards. It's got a lot of mechanics in it that I think are really, really cool and make it a great game. But I was like, what's a good polyomino game that'll get people playing, and it's very easy to play even with the advanced version? And man, honestly, I have 2 of his games back to back. Spoiler alert. But Phil Walker Harding, praise be, I literally am on board with the Brothers Murph. Praise be Phil Walker Harding. Like, he is literally one of the greatest designers when it comes to games that are just so welcoming to people. BARENPARK is so easy to play, man. You just set up that little thing in the center with all the tiles, and set up that thing in the center with all the tiles, and then you just draft tiles and put them into your little parks and build your park, and first one to kind of finish gets all these little trophies and things like that, and it's such a fun game, man. Oh my gosh, I was like, dude, I could play this over and over and over again. BARENPARK is such a great game. Highly recommended if you're looking for a polyomino game to start your collection with. BARENPARK is definitely going to be the one you're looking for. So simple, very easy to play, not a long instruction booklet. Takes like maybe 30-40 minutes to play a game. Love Phil Walker Harding, and I love BARENPARK. But another great Phil Walker Harding game that's going to be good for drafting. So I thought about Seven Wonders. Seven Wonders is a really good entry-level game. So these are recommendations I'm also making. So it's like, not only will I recommend BARENPARK, but I'll recommend Isle of Cats. Not only will I recommend Seven Wonders, but I think this game came out, and I was like, dude, this, for me, replaces Seven Wonders in terms of just like friendly, welcoming game. Because Seven Wonders can be kind of mean, and then you got the drafting, and then you have to go to war with each other, and that's really fun, and I think Seven Wonders is a great game if you like that style of game. But there's another cool drafting game that came out, and this one kind of went under the radar for a while, but it was actually really good, and I think a lot of people have rated it very highly, and it's not expensive. I got it for 20 bucks at Target, but I think you can get it, I think it's the regular price was 30, but the component quality of this game is insane, and people so love Planted in my game group. I love Planted. It's a drafting game where you're drafting these plant cards, and then you gather resources to feed those plants and grow them in between turns. And by the end of the game, you have 4 rounds of drafting before the game ends, and you have to try to grow as many possible plants as you can amongst your 6 that you have. And you get points for each one that you grow. I think it's a good combination of luck, skill, strategy. It's just so fun, and it doesn't take a ton of time to play. I think maybe it takes like 20 to 30 minutes to play, according to the box. I think it'll take you a little longer than that your first time through. But once everybody gets the hang of it, these games are breezy and quick, and the resource quality is incredible in this game. And so Planted, another Phil Walker Harding. It is Phil Walker Harding, right? Yeah, Phil Walker Harding. Praise be. This guy knows how to make some cool games, man. He really does. So I give it up to him. Planted is one of my favorite games as a new gamer. So if you're looking for a great drafting game for your collection, that'll be it. Another mechanism that I think is really, really fun for new people is deck building. So Marvel Legendary is a really good game. I really enjoy that game, and I think it's great for deck building, but it can be very expensive to get into, to get all the expansions. Some of the expansions aren't even like in print anymore, and they're hard to get a hold of. So that's not a recommendation that I would have. It's a great game, and I think everybody should get a copy of that. I love Marvel Legendary. Great deck building. Dominion, I think, is a more acceptable option because it's just pure deck building. They don't add a whole bunch of stuff to it to make it more complicated. But it's very simple, and honestly, theme-wise, if you're starting your collection up, the theming isn't very great for Dominion. It could be a little bit on the boring side. I would say more so that the better deck-building game, which doubles as a racing game, is going to be Quest for El Dorado. Quest for El Dorado is a racing deck building game, and so it's like 2 in 1. So it's like I get that mechanic of wanting to get to the end, but I also learn a little bit about how to do a deck building game, and it's very simple to play. Like, the rules aren't very complicated. I think a game of this takes maybe an hour, which is a little bit more on the chunkier side of time. But man, anybody could play it. It's very simple. Plays 2 to 4 players. I love this game because of the deck building aspect, where you're just running through the jungles, and the cards you use and play from your hand will get you through the different terrains that are in the jungles and the waters and the sandy areas, which I think it's sand, but then it's like coins. Somebody said it was the shops, and I was like, that makes more sense. It's like you're going through like a shop area. But anyways, that's all there is to it. Quest for El Dorado, those of you who have played it know this is a great game, and I think it's a very good entry-level game for people. I don't think it's massively complicated for people to learn how to play this, and I think it's a really cool deck builder. Very unique, very different. Next, which order should I do these in? I guess I'll just do them in the order they're in now. I don't know if I put these in any particular order. This is a game that I think is very good, and it's not exactly... This isn't exactly a lightweight game. This is more of a medium weight game, where it's got contract fulfillment. On BGG, it's classified as a worker placement, but it's kind of weird because you only have one worker that you're moving from shop to shop. But it's this cool game. Oh, I didn't even say the name of the game, FLAMECRAFT, which is there's this big map. The production quality is great. So I think people are finding a hard time finding this game right now, but it should be in print at some point. But I got the deluxe copy from Kickstarter. But even then, with the regular components, this game is just amazing. It's going to teach you some basics for like worker placement somewhat, because you place the little dragon and then you get resources based on where you place it. Can't occupy the same shop. If you do, you have to pay a good to the other player that's there. And then it's just like a cool contract fulfillment game, race for points. I like this game, man. This game is really fun. It's a little bit on the longer side. I'd say a game of this. What do they say a game of this lasts? They say that a game takes 60 minutes. That's not true. This game will take you 90 minutes to 2 hours if you're playing for the first time. I guess it just depends on how many people you play with. I'd say it'd probably be like 30 minutes per player is more accurate to what it would be. Because if you play solo, I know you can do it in under an hour. And if you play with two, it takes about an hour to an hour and a half. But it's a really fun game, and I love the production quality in it. And I think that people would really enjoy this game as a cool game for you starting your collection. Why not get FLAMECRAFT? It's such a cute game, great artwork. I think that kind of hits home for a lot of people, and it gets people into the hobby a little more. So, FLAMECRAFT. Next game. This game is also on the cheaper end. I got it for like 30 bucks. I think it costs like maybe 40. Production value is insane. And it's such an easy game to play. And I find myself wanting to come back to it time and time again. So I would say if you've never played Trekking Through History, there's a lot of trekking games, but I've heard that Trekking Through History is the best of the trekking series. I think that's depending on your perspective and your opinion on that. But this is such a simple, easy game, and you're just building this little tableau of cards, but it's not even like a tableau. It's like you're building like a timeline of cards, and they have to be in order of the right times. And so you're you have like 12 hours. You're visiting the past, and you have 12 hours in each day, in each era, to try to visit as many time periods as you possibly can. And so you're jumping through time, but you got to do it in order. And if you pass up a date, I guess that ratchet system, like Tom Vassell says, where it's like, I can't go back. So I played 640 BC, and then I played 540 BC. So now I can't play if I get another 600 BC. I couldn't play it because I've already played the other one. But it's so fun, very easy. You gather resources, spend those resources on cards. This game is super, super cool. I highly recommend this game as a game to get for starting your collection. Easy to play, quick run-throughs. I think the gameplay takes maybe 30 to 60 minutes. And with 4 people, we had a tremendous time playing this game. It was really, really fun. And so, highly recommend it. Trekking Through History, that's another good game that you can get. Start your collection off. Very good. And very good production quality, like I said. And last but not least, this game is such an interesting game. So, it came out, I think a couple people played it, and everybody that's played this is like, wow, this was actually a really solid game, and it's so fast, easy to teach, super fast to play, but gives you that really cool experience. It's got a little bit of area control, feels like area control, and you're building these paths out a little bit Catan-ish, but not really, because you're not gaining any resources, or actually you kind of are, but then those resources are put on this little map. This is actually Chris Yee's from the Dice Towers, one of his favorite games of all time. I think he gave it a 10 out of 10. He said he's given it a 10, and everybody was shocked. But it's really good, and that is Caesar's Empire. Caesar's Empire. If you are starting a collection, this is a game you have to get because of how easy it is to teach, how quick it is to play. You're looking at a play time of like 30 to 60 minutes, but the way the game looks, it's like you would never expect a game like this to take 30 to 60 minutes. Like, it goes pretty quick once everybody knows what they're doing. Really, really fun game where you're building these little trails from Rome out, and you're building the roads from Rome. And as you build roads, you gain points. So it's like, I will put my little workers out in these trails, and then I count the trails back to Rome, and I get that many points. But if somebody else's trail is a part of my trail, they will also get points. There are gold coins that if you grab the gold coin by placing one of your little worker guys, those little trail people, if you place one and get a gold coin, it doubles the point value. So there's a lot of strategy to the game. It's not just simply luck. Building out your resources, it's like if I get a bunch of the same resource, I'll get a lot of points, but I'll get even more points if I have different resources. And man, this game is just so much fun. I was skeptical at first because it looks like, it looks blah. It doesn't look from the cover like it's going to be like this amazing game. And it actually is. I love this game. This is one of my favorite games of all time as well. It's definitely in my top 100 because I really like playing this game, and I could play this game over and over again. I don't even know where it falls in my top 100, but the Caesar's Empire is such a great game, man, and I think that everybody should get a copy of this. If you can find it at a cheap price, I think $40 to $50 is reasonable. I think $60 is a bit too much. I don't remember what I paid for it. I think I paid maybe $50 for it, but I think maybe, yeah, $40. If you can find it for $40, you should pick it up for sure. But if you can't, then and you want to splurge on it, go ahead. But it's such a good game. It's so light, so simple, affordable. Well, not affordable. It's probably not affordable, but really, really good game. Anyway, that's it, man. That is my top 10 games to start your collection with. I know that's going to be wildly different than I guess the vast majority would, because I feel like my list is a little bit more on the spicier end. I know that some of these games are maybe a little harder to find, like FLAMECRAFT, and I don't think you could just go into the store and find some of these games, but I do know that a good chunk of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them you can find at Target, which is very, very easy to find. The rest of them, I'm almost 1,000% sure you can find on Amazon, and order them on Amazon and then just have them shipped to your house. And honestly, that's how I got them cheap. Like Trekking Through History, I got for $30 on Amazon. It may not be that price now, but these are a lot of cool games you can find. So Skull King, One Night Ultimate Werewolf, KINGDOMINO, BARENPARK, Planted, all at Target. And then Dice Miner, Caesar's Empire, Trekking Through History, FLAMECRAFT, El Dorado, all of those you'll probably have to find at a board game store or on Amazon. And trust me, you will not be disappointed with any of these games. These games are all fantastic. That's my top 10 games for to start your collection with. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also don't forget, if you're feeling generous, that I have a Patreon now. I'm starting to build up the Patreon account. And so don't forget to check it out after this. Click on the link and see if it's something it's feasible for you. And if not, totally cool, man. I just make content because I love to. But anyways, love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys later.